Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we're talking about the next 3D Mario game that's coming for Nintendo Switch 2. It's been rumored, it's likely, we're probably getting a 3D Mario to launch the next big system. I don't think that should come as much of a surprise to most people. Nintendo tends to always put out a big new 3D Mario game for every generation early on. And we're hearing about this from Andy Robinson, that a big brand new 3D Mario game is going to launch with the next Nintendo system. But recently, we've gotten a rumor from a particular source that I don't talk about too often. But a lot of people are circulating this information. I felt that we should put in our 2 cents here and talk about why the rumor does make a lot of sense, but we don't necessarily believe the rumor. However, at the same time, we do, because we already thought this was happening. So stick with me, hear me out, let me explain everything that's going on. But before going forward, let me point out that we are still aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe to the notification bell. With your help, it can still happen. So I am going to explain why I think a big, brand new, epic, visually pleasing, very open 3D Mario game is very likely coming out next year for Nintendo's next system. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about this rumor, and I'm going to explain why I don't think this is the most reliable piece of information, even though I think the information is close to on the money. And I understand that may seem odd to you, but let's get into it. So the rumor that's causing the stir, this conversation about 3D Mario, is coming from Zippo. And I tend to not talk about Zippo too often, mainly because I hear they say a lot of things, and those things don't come true. However, recently, they were talking about a deluge of Mario Wonder news, and then we got a Mario Wonder Direct. So I'm kind of giving them a little bit more attention now, because it may be the case that they do indeed have some inside sources, and they hear about this, and then they relay that, but they also go into their own predictions and make a number of educated guesses. And what happens is that, well, Nintendo's a very tough company to predict, and when you're talking about information about things before they were unveiled, plans can change, they can be moved around, and especially with the timing of things, it's very, very tricky and tough. So maybe it is indeed the case that while Zippo has gotten some things wrong in the past, or just hasn't been correct yet, that doesn't mean that they don't have inside information. So given that they recently were somewhat on the money about the Mario Wonder news, I think it's worth having a conversation about this rumor regarding the next 3D Mario. So here's what's being said. This is going to be an open world 3D Mario game. This game will not be a sequel to Mario Odyssey. They've been told the game looks absolutely jaw-dropping. And this game will be a day one Nintendo Switch 2 title. And that's pretty much the rumor. Now, it's also being said by Zippo that there are a number of games being made by Nintendo EPD Tokyo, and it's not just Mario, it also includes Princess Peach Showtime, the rumored 2D Donkey Kong, and also Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and they're all running on this modern version of the engine, which is why Princess Peach Showtime and Mario vs. Donkey Kong look so good. Maybe there is something to that. And as I said earlier, I do think that what's being said here makes a lot of sense, and I do think it's very likely to happen next year. But ultimately, I don't necessarily believe the rumor. I'm not sure if we're truly going to get an open world 3D Mario game next year. I do think it's going to have a lot of open elements, but I'm not sure it's going to be truly open world. So first, let's talk about why I'm skeptical of information coming from Zippo. Really, there's a long list of things that have been said that have not come true. A while back, they talked about a Mario Kart Cross, or something that included a lot of Nintendo characters, almost like Mario Kart Cross with Smash, something to that effect, like a big brand new Mario game. And then shortly after his rumor came out, we got the announcement of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. Now, one doesn't necessarily mean the other doesn't exist, but the timing of it was very odd. At another point, they said that the rumor of this open world Donkey Kong game getting canceled and being worked by Vicarious Visions is complete bullocks. Well, the thing about that is that that rumor has been corroborated by multiple sources. Donkey Kong Vine, Spawn Wave. It is supposedly a canceled project. It's not happening anymore. But Zippo has said that it's just complete baloney and it's not real at all, as if they would know. But when you have multiple sources that corroborate the story, then I think that adds credence to it, and I, in general, personally think that if you have some inside information, that doesn't mean you have all the inside information. So there are things I've seen over the past from Zippo that just seem inconsistent, and I'm not so sure they have all the sources they think they do. Maybe they do, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just calling it as I see it. And to offer credit where credit is due, they did talk about Mario Wonder information coming out around a Wednesday or a Thursday before the Direct. And that did happen. We got a Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct on August 31st, a Thursday, and they said it would happen on Wednesday or Thursday a couple days beforehand. They were correct on that. And then the Nintendo Direct happened a couple weeks later. So they were spot on with that. And it may be the case they have some inside information. But with everything they said over the years, it's been mixing with a lot of stuff that hasn't come true. And it's been inconsistent. And they say things that go against what other sources have corroborated in the opposite direction. So whenever I see things from Zippo, I take it with more than just salt. I just basically, in general, don't believe it. And in regards to the Mario Wonder thing, while they were correct about us getting Mario Wonder information, there was a Nintendo Live event about to happen. And typically, even before Direct, we get announcements about big games that we expect to be there beforehand. Like, for example, we got information on Pikmin 4 before it was showcased even further in the June Nintendo Direct. So it may have been the case that they simply put out a solid prediction that we would be getting Mario Wonder news, and they were close with the timing, and it just so happened that Mario Wonder had a Nintendo Direct then. A broken clock is right twice a day, right? If you continue to make predictions and say different things, you're going to be right sometimes. Point is, while it's possible this person has inside information, the end result is, whatever they say, the timing's usually off. A lot of things haven't come true. A lot of things they have said are things that most people would predict anyway. So, I don't buy into it fully. I don't have reason to. That said, I do think a big, brand new 3D Mario is coming out next year. Switch 2 is reportedly coming out next year from several different sources. Historically speaking, Nintendo does use mainline 3D Mario to push new hardware. We are just coming off the Mario Kart Booster Course Pass. We are not too far removed from Smash Ultimate Deluxe. We just got Tears of the Kingdom. So while a Smash game, a Zelda game, a Mario Kart game would all be fantastic launch window titles, 3D Mario is the most overdue. And the Mario Odyssey team's been working on something, at least something, since they finished that game back in 2017. And Andy Robinson, the owner of Video Games Chronicle, has said that 3D Mario will be the launch title for Nintendo Switch 2. So I do think it's very likely a big brand new 3D Mario is coming out for the next system. And I do think it's going to be visually pleasing. The terminology absolutely jaw-dropping may very well apply. What we've heard about Nintendo Switch 2 is that it's substantially more powerful than Switch 1. It seems like it's going to be closer to the current gen systems than Switch was to the prior gen systems. We've heard about it having NVIDIA's DLSS technology, being able to upscale games to 4K, running Breath of the Wild at 60 frames per second with no load times. We've heard about it running the Unreal Engine 5 demo with ray tracing that may be comparable or better than the PS5 version. We've heard from a raw power perspective it's close to PS4, if not better, and just a whole bunch of good things about what it may be able to accomplish. So even if we lowball what the kind of visuals the Switch 2 can put together, it's going to be on something that's substantially more powerful than the Switch. And Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch, not a customized chip like what we're hearing the Switch 2 will be, but basically a stock Tegra X1, in 2017, that game blew our minds. Blew my mind. Still does. It looks incredible. It plays incredible. It's a technical achievement. So I fully expect the next 3D Mario to push the next big system will be absolutely jaw-dropping. I am looking so forward to the reveal of that game. I think it's going to look incredible. And I'll go a step further. I remember when Nintendo showed that Mario movie poster, and I bring this up whenever we talk about 3D Mario. And yes, that is for the movie. The game will not look like the movie. But showing Mario in that way, with this vast Mushroom Kingdom, there's something about that gets me excited. And you look at all the different Mario Universe games Nintendo's coming out with now, I think it's absolutely in part to take advantage of the Mario Bros. Movie popularity. I think it makes a lot of sense to think that Nintendo wants to cap all that off with a big brand new 3D Mario to launch their big brand new system. Totally. And in terms of the game not being a direct sequel to Odyssey, if this is a new Mario game to start off a new generation, a next-gen console outside of the Switch ecosystem, then yeah, that makes the most sense. If we're talking about this game coming out in 2024, at the earliest, that's 7 years removed from Mario Odyssey. I think the ship has sailed on a direct sequel. We also don't really see direct sequels from one system to the next when it comes to 3D Mario. You could argue maybe 3D World to 3D Land from the jump from 3DS to Wii U. And we have seen Mario Galaxy 1 to 2, but that was on the Wii, it wasn't on separate consoles. But even when those happened, it wasn't like the story followed them up directly. They were almost like reimaginings of what may happen. So I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that the next 3D Mario will not be a direct follow-up to Odyssey, but may still incorporate a lot of elements from Odyssey and build off of that. And I also think there is a great chance that the next Mario game could be open world, or at least be more vast and open than Mario Odyssey. We see what they did with Bowser's Fury, how it was an open world Mario game added to 3D World Deluxe, and it looks great. And that was a lot of fun. A lot of people were really excited about that, myself included. That was the reason why I got that version of the game, because I already played through 3D World on my Wii U. So Nintendo may have already been experimenting considering the idea of a more open Mario game. And we've seen that when Nintendo goes bigger with a lot of their games, they tend to do better. Kirby's Forgotten Land, best-selling Kirby game to date. Nintendo went open world with Zelda, and the sales exploded. And Mario Odyssey, while it was not open world, had big open areas to explore, and it is the best-selling 3D Mario to date as well. So I do think that Nintendo would be inclined to go big and open, especially with very powerful hardware. They will be absolutely suited to really pushing Mario in this direction. So I don't think it's a crazy prediction. I think there's definitely reason to think that the next 3D Mario could be open world. But I'll also say that it doesn't have to be open world. I think it comes down to what would make the most fun Mario game. Would it be cool to ride around on Yoshi or Plessie as these mounts in a vast world that's an expanded sort of version of the Mushroom Kingdom? I would love that. I would love to see how the different lands of the Mushroom Kingdom or the Mario universe can connect. That would be fun. And maybe the open world doesn't have to be so big like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where the map's just super long and you can go hours walking from one point to another. Maybe it's more of a denser open world. It doesn't have to be a vast, massive open world. But maybe it's a dense open world with these areas that are filled with tons of things to do, and rather than there being a menu screen that separates them, it's some level of land where there are some fun things to do in between, but it's not like a very long distance. But what it does, it creates this cohesive rendition of the Mushroom Kingdom or wherever Mario will be exploring, and that could add to our immersion, and that could make it really fun and all the more exciting. Regardless, I have full faith in Nintendo and the Mario team to put together something that will be absolutely spectacular and will have a great chance of being a Game of the Year quality kind of title, as they always do with the 3D Mario games. So in short, I don't really believe the rumor, but I think the rumor is still probably spot on or very close to it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.